Okay, so today's episode might be a little bit different. We're going to talk about some new stuff, as you saw in the title and the thumbnail, but also I kind of want to talk about where I am with the game now, catch you up to my speed, and then going forward we can kind of do stuff together. There's a few more things I haven't shown on camera that I've done, but it's always been like demos and drafts, nothing really finalized, like rulebooks, packaging, some game mechanics I've scrapped. But overall, all the big stuff, you're kind of caught up now. So I want to talk about a few more new things, and then by the end of the episode, I want to kind of talk about where I am with the game and what you can expect going forward with these episodes, because they've been quite fast to get out, because I've kind of recapped what I'm doing with the game. But once you catch up, I'll be working in real time, which might be a bit slower. So if you guys want any other videos or any other content on this game, you can let me know at the end of the video. Okay, let's get into it. Episode 5. As you saw by the title, we're going to talk about something you might think seems a little bit boring or mundane, but actually is a massive part of TCGs, especially this TCG, because I really want it to be something a little bit different, but also not alienate people who are so used to the normal TCG format. And what I'm talking about is types and elements, attributes, whatever you want to call them. The thing that shows what the monster is, what attribute they're from, what location they'll be in. It's a big part of the world building, and a lot of people don't see it that way, but it really helps when designing creatures. So what I'll normally do when I design a creature is I will think of an attribute, an element, a type, whatever you want to call it, and then I'll design it from that. Then look up inspiration of that thing. Let's say I want to make a dragon, a nice basic dragon. I'll go to Google Images, Pinterest, whatever it is, look up all these inspirations for dragons, make a little mood board, and then I'll make my sketch out. And you guys don't see that bit, because that bit obviously I don't really film because it's very boring. But in terms of making types, they're very important to your world building. You've got to make your monster around a type, but also make sure that monster fits within that type and what its strengths are. So for example, in my game, and I'm putting my rulebook as well so you'll see it, my types have different strengths and weaknesses. So for example, dragon types, they're called Draco type in my TCG. They are strong, they're powerful, they have some drawbacks and they're hard to get out. So you've got this massive powerful monster, but to get them actually onto the arena is a little bit difficult. And then for example, breeze cards, which are like flying or air types or aerial types, whatever you want to call it, they are very good at getting past enemy lines and they're very quick to do so. So if you've got Shrine in the back row, a lot of breeze types can either attack directly into that Shrine, or they can bring out other breeze types that can also do the same thing. So you've got to think when you're making your card game, why give them types and how the types benefit the monster and the gameplay. Okay, so let's talk about the actual decks I'm making and why I chose to make those types. So the types I've chose to go with, and this did change when I was making the decks, and it kind of did show with some of the monsters, but I do like the idea of a starter deck having a lot of mix and match monsters rather than being this really good intense structure deck straight from the get-go. Because what I like about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is you can buy starter decks that have a little main theme, and then you've got loads of random cards that just work well in general. And then you can have the structure decks, which are very much all the same type, and they have that kind of like one goal, one set drive to win, which I really like, but also I want you guys to have to make those decks rather than me just showing you in my game how those decks work. So my first deck is based around dragons and fire. Now I know it's very basic, every TCG does dragons and fire and big creatures, but there's a reason for that, and it's because they're really cool. And I like cool things. Dragons are cool, fire's cool, obviously they go hand in hand, and there is still monsters, and well, I call them guardians. It's hard for me to not call them monsters now because I called them monsters for like 5 months making my game. The guardians in there's not all dragons and monsters and fire. It is a lot of other things as well that make the deck universal and just can be used anytime. And at some point I might even show it in this episode, not 100% sure. I might just show you all the cards in the deck, because at this point, like, you're 5 episodes in, you want to see my card game, that's what you're here for. I'm not trying to like gatekeep it from you. I just don't want to show you stuff too early and have it change every episode, because it looks like I'm inconsistent, but I'm not. I'm just developing, like, ever since last episode it's been like 6 days and I've already changed stuff in my card game. I've added cards to the deck, I've made new artworks, I've changed some of the overlays, like I can't stop myself, but I do want to show you stuff, I promise. So my fire and dragon deck is based around power, as you could probably guess. Dragons are made based around power, and the Inferno type, which is a fire type, is based around doing damage and having a lot of effects to do with them, like fire spread, so having a lot of fire, guardians in the field will do more damage, that kind of vibe. I did like that, and I'm going to stick with it until it seems broken, but this deck is definitely the stronger one at the moment, which needs balancing. We're doing that, we need to playtest more, but at the moment the fire deck is definitely the stronger one, which can't be helped because fire is cool and strong. My other deck I've got is, well, it started off as a warrior deck, and now it's changed to a breeze and aqua deck, which might seem like a drastic change, but a lot of the warrior monsters I were doing were very like Japan inspired and had a lot of breeze aspects. Like there's a panda who is a warrior and he's one of the strongest cards in the deck. He's not the strongest anymore, but he was one of the strongest, and he was a warrior and breeze type. And then his design kind of flowed into like this panda who was kind of like traveling through the wind, one's like a sensei, and it kind of made sense to me. And then I found some aqua cards that I really liked, and I thought, well, aqua and fire are quite good types to clash for a first starter deck. So it did slowly transform, and you can see because one of the shrines I made was a warrior shrine. Now the deck only has a few warriors in it, so I need to update that. But also it does make for some fun gameplay. This deck is like more mix and match than anything else. So outside the decks, the types I've got Draco, I've got Inferno, Breeze, Warrior, Aqua, Cherubic, Magic, Crystal, and Nightmare. I'm actually so proud of myself remembering that off by heart because I've changed names quite a lot. So all these types have strength and weakness, so later on when you make your own decks with all the cards, you'll be able to find strategies within these types. And even though types don't have type advantages against other types like Pokemon, they do have a type advantage where if you have loads of type in one deck, they do work very, very well together. I like the synergy of it all, but again, it's more of a structure deck thing rather than starter decks. I want to keep that kind of for you guys to try out, and if you do want to make decks based around one or two types, you can make these cool combos that probably I hadn't even thought of yet. So when it comes to your types and elements, you want to think about what you're going to do for your card. If you want an icon, if you want text, if you want some sort of symbol. I first had written, I used to just, in my description used to be play one Inferno type, blah, 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 blah. But now it's play an icon, because I like the idea of visually being able to connect the icons to the icons on the card. So if you've got a fire icon in your text, you can easily search for your deck and see a fire icon on the card. You think, right, that works. And it's more a thing where it's not babying you, but it looks nicer. It looks nice to look at, and it's not just reading so much font that you're thinking, oh God, overwhelming. Okay, so now we've talked about types and elements. It was a small section, but it's quite important to the game. Let's talk about where I am now, and I'm going to try and show you as much as I can on the screen of what I'm doing, what I've done, catching you up, and then from episode 6 onwards, you will kind of be where I am, which is quite exciting, but I'm worried that I won't be able to put these episodes out as much, because it will be real-time working rather than going back and showing you stuff, but we can worry about that when it comes to it. As of right now, this is where I am. So, first thing, artworks. I'm about 70% done with all the artworks of the current starter decks. That means all the cards I want to put in there. There'll be a few extra cards I'm swapping in and out as I'm playtesting, and a lot of the artworks that aren't done are the resource cards, because as you know, making TCG, and maybe someone loves it, and it is still fun, but making the monster cards is the funnest part, and making the traditional, like the resource, trap spell, item, whatever they are, whatever cards are not monsters, are never as fun. But I've tried to make it more fun by incorporating my guardians within those artwork, which is fun to draw, fun to see your guardians a different way, in different angles and stuff like that, and it gives them more of like a world building feel. They're not quite as fun as doing guardians. So yes, artworks 70% done, still going. I do one like every day, but there is so many, and I keep going back and rechanging stuff, so I'm never really truly happy, but I need to get rid of that and just keep them as they are. Playtesting. So, playtesting I've done, before I reworked my game, I did about 10 to 12 playtests with the old game, and I reworked it, and ever since then I've done, I think, 2 with other people, so one with one person, one with the other, a few matches, and I play by myself every day, just like duel myself, but I now got to the stage where I'm not really happy with it, so I've reworked it again, and I'm waiting for those cards to arrive so I can playtest again, and from here on out, I will show you guys more of the playtesting process, because I think it's quite fun, and some people don't want to sit through a 20-minute match, so I'm going to try and figure out how to make that entertaining. But I do think it's very important to show you guys how my game actually works, because there's still loads of you that don't know what my game's about at all, and I don't blame you, because I haven't really talked about it properly. Okay, so card overlays, as of now, they are done. They are done, they're complete. I've told myself that unless something's unbalanced, the actual look of the card is done. Unless I change it during playtesting, that something doesn't work, or I want to take something out, the actual overlay and look of the card is finalized. I'm really, really happy with it. I really, really love it. And what you should do with your cards when you make them, and you make them finalized, or at the point where you're happy with them, make a mood board of like all the best cards you like, not your own cards, like the Mythic Gathering, Yugioh, Pokemon, Locana. Make a mood board of like one card from every one of those game series, and put your card in with them, and see if it looks good, see if it can like match those ones and look like you could see it in a game shop and you wouldn't even blink an eye. That's the way you know that you're happy with your card. If you're not happy with your card, that's fine, but you should always change stuff and tweak it until you can look at that page and see, yeah, it fits with Yu-Gi-Oh, it fits with Pokemon, it fits with Magic Gathering, it fits with all these other ones. And yeah, seeing if it can fit with those cards is very important. I think for me personally, maybe it doesn't matter for other people, but if I'm going to see my card game in a game shop one day, I don't want anyone to walk past it and think, oh god, why is that there? Because I want them to be seamless. I want it to look like it's meant to be there. Okay, so another big thing is the rules and the rulebook. Now, this is one thing that I keep procrastinating, and it's not because it's not fun. Like, writing rules out of your game isn't the most entertaining thing, but making a rulebook actually is quite fun, doing different graphics for it. But it's just, I don't have my game finalized yet, so the rulebook will just be me typing it out different every week I try it. So with your rules, and what I've got here is a book, and it's really, really basic. It's just got my card game at the front so I know which book it is, and then it's literally just got a page of A4 where the rules are just on there. It's 2.5 pages, and there's not all rules. It's more just like, if I'm playing with someone, they say, well, what does this element mean in the game? I can go, oh, blah, 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 that's what it means. It's not so much rules like step by step. It's just to like have your game streamlined. But once I finish the rules, this will be typed out, fleshed out into a rulebook. I'm not trying to make a rulebook that's like a novel. No one wants to read that. But I do want a rulebook that feels like it's a fleshed out game. I want a rulebook to look nice, but also be readable, viable, and not overwhelming. Because sometimes you look at like a Yu-Gi-Oh rulebook and you're like, right, this is too much, and I'm just going to look up on the internet. I'm going to look up a video tutorial. That's another thing I do want to do, actually. Speaking of it, I do want to do a video tutorial when the game's done, whether it's like animated or like a live duel or some sort of like step-by-step on how to play the game. I think it's very important for content creators who have platforms with their card games on to also make like a how-to video with their card game, which I will make once my game is done. So that's another thing, that if you don't want to read the whole rule book, a lot of the rules will be in there anyway. So as you've seen, the logo's done. That's one thing that I really wanted to get done early on, because once your logo, you can do packaging, you can do card pack, you can do social media advertising, I can make this channel. So that's a very, very important thing. And I do think that even if you don't finalize your logo early on, you should have an idea of it and like a rough version of it that you can use until you replace it with the actual final version, which you guys saw in the last episode, I think. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and it's something I have actually tackled and I think is done, but I just want to see it printed out first before I confirm if I like it or not, is the back of the cards. Now, a lot of people don't really think about this straight out the bat because they're making the cards all at the front, you know, making the cool monsters, making the cool stats. But a lot of the time, when your card's upside down, you're looking at your deck, card back's got to look nice. Although a lot of people do put sleeves in their cards, which I also do. If you've got a clear sleeve, or even you just want some cards on display, you've got to make the back look nice. And I think I've got a design I like. So here is my card back at the moment. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to see it with playtesting. But it kind of flows with the front. You've got the ripped paper look on the back. You've got the purple aspect, which is also on the front. And then obviously the game logo is very important to have on the card, whether it's a logo in writing or a symbol that represents the logo, like Lorcana. As of now, that's my card back. I'm going to print it off. I'm going to see what it looks like. And if it looks nice, I will keep it until someone says it doesn't look good. And I will change it and adjust it until I think everyone will be happy with it. But I think it looks cool. It's simple, basic, it color matches, and it fits with a lot of the cards if you just flip them back and forth. Okay, so the next step for me between now and maybe next video or a few videos time is I'm going to print off my new test decks, which are now gone from 35 cards to 45 cards, and I'm going to see if it works. I'm going to see if it's playable. I'm going to rope some people in to play with me. I'm going to play it by myself. I'm going to keep playtesting this game until it's perfect, because I will never release something that I'm not happy with. So even if it's like next year, I want to make sure this game's perfect, and I'm not going to throw it out just because I set a rough release date in my mind of like this year. So that's it for episode 5. It was a bit of a weird episode. It wasn't really like a whole new episode. I thought it was important to catch you guys up with what I'm doing, what I'm going to do now going forward, and a very important part of the card game, which is actually your elements and the way your game plays. So if you enjoyed this episode, like it, subscribe. Again, thank you for all the support. Like, I keep waking up every morning and just seeing new subscribers and new comments, and the videos are doing well, and I really, really appreciate that. So thank you so much. And yes, stay tuned for episode 6. I'm not sure what's going to be yet, because I'm very much now where you are, and we've all caught up nearly to the point where we can do this together. But I will see you in episode 6 for something fun, and hopefully a playtest if it arrives. But it means I have to pay for extra shipping, and I don't want to do that because my budget for this game has already gone through the roof. So we're going to see what we can do, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye guys.